Hello, students. Welcome to the YouTube channel UPSC. My name is Shivam Mishra, and we'll be discussing here today's newspaper analysis. The date is 13 January 2026. Our aim is to prepare the current affairs for prelims 2026. Let's get started. First article is about carbon credit. Article 6 of Paris Agreement deal with carbon credit market. It is A6, can be mentioned somewhere, and it was made fully operational at COP29 with 89 cooperation arrangements under Article 6.2 across 58 parties, marking a significant step in carbon market collaboration. The adoption of this agreement at COP19 transitioned from clean development mechanism to more rigorous and transparent credit framework. COP19 held in Baku, Azerbaijan. COP30 will be held in Belém of Brazil. In August 2025, India operationalized this article and by signing the joint credit mechanism, marking a new era in international climate cooperation. India's participation in A6 is a significant not only for adoption of the free carbon ecosystem but also it will strengthen the bilateral relations, channel climate finance, and it will also align with India's domestic goal for the climate change. As it is a market mechanisms, so it will accelerate the industrial and technological transformation in India also. India has identified 13 eligible sectors in order to promote the carbon credit, which is focusing the high-end technologies like renewable energy, including the solar, wind energy, and green hydrogens. Sustainable aviation fuels is also being covered in this. It is actually aligning with the India's goal of sustainable growth, and it will strengthen its domestic framework, including detailing the scope of activities and issuing the letters of authorization. All these provisions has been added in order to boost the overall market rationings. It will also help in strengthening the South-South cooperation. So this is all about this article. Let's get to the next topic. Next topic is about the bill that reimagines India's higher education regulations. The next topic is Viksit Bharat Shiksha Adhisthan Bill 2025. It was introduced in Lok Sabha on December 15, which aims to transform the India's higher education sector by aligning with the help of National Education Policy 2020, which was introduced, and it has a vision of holistic education development in order to give boost to the Viksit Bharat 2047. As we know, this is our target to achieve, to become transition from developing nation to a developed nation. India's higher education systems, with over 1,000 universities and numerous institutions, faces over regulations due to multiple statutory bodies, leading to a focus on process over purpose, hindering the teaching, research, and innovation. The bill proposed light but tight framework. This is a keyword which we can use while writing our mains answer, that it proposes a light but tight framework, replacing fragmented oversight with more coordinated standards and streamlined regulation and credible quality assurance anchored in the 66 of the 7 schedule. It enables the Viksit Bharat Shiksha Adhisthan as an apex body with three council for regulations. That is, a Shiksha Adhisthan is a body which three-member council for regulation, accreditation, and standard, aiming to improve the credibility and reduce the conflict of interest. The bill seeks to sorry, the bill seeks to repeal the University Grant Commission Act, UGC Act, 1956, the All India Council for Technical Education, All India Council for Technical Education, 1987, and National Council for Teaching Education Act, 1993. These all acts have been repealed, annulled by the government to unify and modernize. The aim is to unify and modernize the higher education systems. It also provide a single window clearance, more transparency, and more the institutions will be based on publish key informations. The bill aims to empower youth, expanding access to quality institutions, raising the gross enrollment ratio, and focusing on teaching that builds reasoning, values, and interdisciplinary approach. It also encourages the students' feedback on academic qualities. The bill support the adoption of global best practices. Global best practices should be adopted in order to improve the India's credibility through global benchmark like outcomes, ethics, research culture. Also, we have to focus the R&D sectors. As we know, it only contribute to 0.6% of GDP. Most of the R&D has been done by the public sector, approx 75% or more than that. So we need to promote overall research development, and based on the modern educations, and vocational education should be also promoted. Thus, we can achieve our target of Atmanirbhar Bharat. India also faces the problem like migration of the students. More, there is a culture of uh, the graduates who are doing good in their profiles. They used to move out of the country to earn handsome monies or to get the great facilities and to get the better outcomes of their education. That will also have been the aim of India with, to boost the educational tourism also in the country. So this was the overall news of this topic. Let's get to next topic. Recently, India has been invited to join the Pax Silica. It is US led initiative for cooperation on semiconductor, critical minerals, and artificial intelligence, which has been considered as a future of the coming generation. So in next month was announced by Incoming US Ambassador Sergio Go, the US and India aim to progress on trade negotiations that have been delayed due to the US tariff. We have also have been witnessing these incidents in the India's trade issues, and there has been a six rounds of negotiation and three visits by the Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal to US already, but there has not been a consensus on that. India was not part of the original Pax Silica. Originally, the information is becomes important that it was not originally part of it. Later it was invited. Of course it has not been invited, that means it is not originally a part of that pax. And the pax was launched, which included the quad members like Japan, Australia, with other countries also like um, I2U2, Israel and UAE, and other countries like South Korea, Singapore, and UK also are the part of these. Tension between the India and the US have been noted recently, and particularly over statements which is done regarding mediation in India-Pakistan conflict that has been a bone of contention between the two countries. And also the article discuss about the Prime Minister Modi and President Trump relationships, that there has been eight conversations and between the leaders in the past years. And there was also a mentioning of special envoy for South and Central Asia for confirming the US Senate in October 24. And over also the regional issues will be discussed like Bangladesh coup conflict, and recently there has been a civil war in Pakistan related to Baloch. So overall, things need to be discussed, but main important information is Pax Silica. This is US led initiatives mainly focusing the semiconductor, critical minerals, and artificial intelligence. Recently India has been invited. Members has been the quad members, I2U2 members. Other members like South Korea, UK are also part of this. Let's get to next topic. Next topic, headlines with investing in children key to India's future. India's goal to become a Viksit Bharat and 30 trillion economy by 2047. 30 trillion economy by 2047 and the Viksit Bharat target requires sustained investments in human capital. The topic discuss about the boost to the human capital, particularly the early childhood care and development. ECCD that I have mentioned here, early childhood care and development, is a strategic economic investment with the first 1,000 days of life being crucial for the child's for the child development as recognized by the WHO. This becomes important information mainly for the mains purpose. We can use it for the answer writings, but this could also good informations can be asked in the prelims, that WHO has recommended that first 100 days of the child is being crucial, and it has recognized as a that time period in which the best of the best circumstances should be provided to children in order to grow for their overall personality. Investment in ECCD can reduce future healthcare education's cost, expand the tax basis, and promote social mobility and inclusive growth, as evidenced by countries like US, France, and South Korea. They have been investing in the human capitals and they got the result. India has made progress in child survival through initiatives like Child Survival and Safe Motherhood initiatives. The initiative was of 1992, and the Reproductive and Child Health Program, National Health Missions. It is of recent program which cover the early childhood care. Sorry, integrated child development services which was came in 1975, and Saksham Anganwadi, Poshan program, Poshan program. These are the programs which has been taken by the government in order to promote a healthy childhood cares. E- The scientific advances in child development, such as epigenetics, highlight the importance of early intervention as most neutral connection from during the first 1000 days. India needs an integrated earlyhood, early childhood care framework that includes health, nutrition, early learning, emotional well-being, caregiving, and consumption to 8 years of age. It also includes the nutrition, mental health, lifestyle choices as an essential for the public health. Parental education. Parental education has been a important task which has been of important for the child early childhood cares, because most of the times it is considered as a family, as a second school of a child. So the article discussed that we need the parental education also. We need to investment in quality care and learning system also for child aged between 2 to 5 for the crucial development, for the easy decision making of their life. Learning, health, nutrition must be integrated. Learning, health, education. These all promote the good child development environment. So the overall the initiatives has been taken by the government. The main crux of this article is that the children should be taken care not only physically but also mentally, educationally, and psychologically also, in order that we can utilize our demographic dividends. And it will be impossible if our childs are not productive to gain the or to boost the to achieve the aim of Viksit Bharat 2047. So in order to achieve the 30 trillion economy, we need to take care of the child of the country. Next article deals with the data center. The article consider it as a new oil of the economy, and because of the data center designed in very poorly way, there has been a harm to environment, and we need to adopt the sustainable practices so that data centers can be protected, it can be more efficient, and can in long run be beneficial for the environment and the people also. Like Google's Coriolis data centers in Santiago, Chile faced local opposition due to water stress and leading to court mandate switch to air cooled designs. This has been a point of concerns in the data centers. The US India is seen as a potential hub for the data centers, but most learned from US resistance to avoid issues like opaque contracts and environmental neglects, which led to the project cancellation in North Carolina. And countries in global south, including India, face challenges like poor zoning, weak community involvement, because most of the people are not aware of the significance of these data centers. So community is also not taken into account. Lacks environment regulations, making them the more intensive centers. It also lack environment regulations and more harm to the environment. India center's opacity capacity is projected to grow significantly, with predicting a 77% increase to 1.8 gigawatt by 2028. A Chrysler estimating 2.3 to 2.4 gigawatt by 2028 fiscal, and Collier's forecasting over 4.5 gigawatt by 2030. Despite Risk India has a strong judicial pathways and civil society organizations, so it should be taken into account that water stressed area should be uh, avoided. We need to adopt more sustainable ways to adopt the modern technologies, and data center should be made which is viable, not only efficient with the energy but also viable to the economic and environment also. Other news are like India Germany s- signed a recently defense pact. It is 25 years of strategic partnership and 75 years of diplomatic relations. During the Chancellor Mer's visits, where multiple regional issues, including Ukraine Gaza conflicts, were discussed, and there was a condemnation of the terrorism also by PM Modi. And the whole summit was for strengthening the global supply chain, highlighting the negative impact of rising protectionism on Indian Germany trade ties. The rising protectionism actually a point of concern, which makes recent WTO as a more toothless tiger, because people are now protecting their domestic economy, and the free trade, the idea of free and fair trade has been violated in each and every manner due to tariffs, offshoring, and other ways. So this has been a point of debates recently issues, and this has been discussed in the defense ties. The next news is about titled China's reactor hits the density limit. Recently, in a nuclear fusion reactor in China, reported achieving stable plasma 65% denser, 65% more denser than green walled limit. This becomes an important keyword. Green wall limit a significant, because it's a significant breakthrough in a fusion device. Fusion power actually we know that replicates the sun having a nuclear fusion reactions. The green wall limit a density thresholds. This is actually a density threshold in tokamak or tokamak, but whatever we pronounce it, has been a barrier, and exceeding it causes a plasma collapse, potentially damaging reactors. But recently, the achievements by Chinese came often and surprising, and it has uh, have been appreciated all over the world. East fusion reactor in Hafi, China, achieves stable plasma at 1.3x to 1.65x the green wall limit by using electron cyclotron resonance heating. East tungsten surface were coated with lithium to reduce impurities, as tungsten impurities can cause plasma collapse by radiating heat wave. The plasma wall self-organizations PWSO theory. According to this theory developed in 2021, predict two stable states, a density limit regime and density free regime, differentiated by the diverter temperature. The experiment showed that more gas in a chamber led to a cooler diverter, and less tungsten contamination, while varying ECRH power had a smaller effect. The result matched PWSO theory predictions, and placing East result in in the density free regime. It was actually a density free regime. There is two, density free regime and density limit regime. Thus, overall, getting this temperature approx 1 million, I would say. I'm not sure but about the temperature, but it is like approx this only 1 million or 1 billion, I guess so. So this was the news. Next news is India's retail inflation increased by 1.33% in December, a 3-month high, but still below the Reserve Bank of India's lower comfort level of 2%. The Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementations report a broad based decline in price levels across sectors, contributing to low retail inflation. The RBI targets 4%. There is a target which actually targets between 2 to 4% plus minus 2% of the inflation rate. So the food and beverages category saw a price contraction of 1.85%, and this is all about the inflation news. Recently, the Central Board of Film Certification, the body came in news. It is actually a body which comes under the Cinematography Act. It was tasked of checking the contents against issues like state integrity, public order. But the changes to recently there was a movie release like Parasakti, and there was a various cuts in that scene cuts in that. The movie was about like Tamil Nadu's history or historical events, one of the historical events, and there were multiple cuts, and this changes to suggest possible over censorship impacting freedom of expression. The article discuss about freedom of expression. It was raising concern about suppressing historical narratives, particularly the political history and India's federalism. The Cinematography Rules 2024 allows central boards of film certification chairman to intervene, but last minute decision appear arbitrary, as seen in the Madras High Courts. And so this body was came in news. So kindly read the static portion of this body. Recently there was a news of so much of news of POSCO Act. So kindly read some of the provisions where like 18 years till 18 years person is considered child, and there was a news of reducing the age of consent. Like age of consent is very much different from the age of marriage, but age of consent to be reduced for in case of teenage relationships, especially the casual relations or the relationships based on a physical activity. So the Supreme Court also asked the government uh, to induct the Romeo Juliet clause like this. These are the provisions. So there was a news about POSCO Act. So kindly read some articles about this also. And thus, this is all news of the day. Thank you for watching this video, and if you want a content like this, if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and thank you so much.